Hello, my name is Gino, and I'm going to be your CA for this episode of Chem Buddy dealing with the periodic table. The periodic table is one of the most important tools you will have in chemistry, and you'll use it on everything from your labs to your tests, so it's important you understand the basics of how to use this table. This episode will show you how to read and understand the periodic table, and we'll also go over the names of some of the elements in the table. Before we look at the periodic table as a whole, we need to understand what information is in each square of the table and how it is arranged. Let's use hydrogen, the simplest element, as our model. Each element is assigned an atomic number, which is placed at the top of the square. Below the element's atomic number is the element's symbol, in this case, capital H. Below the symbol of the element is the atomic weight of an element, the approximate weight of one atom of the element. Even more importantly, the atomic weight is the same as the element's molar mass, which will be important in later sections. Last is the full name of the element, here, hydrogen. Now, this information may be rearranged according to the version of the periodic table you may be using, but besides atomic weight and atomic number, the other information in a square of the periodic table is very straightforward. And in discerning between atomic weight and number, all you need to remember is that atomic weight has a few decimal places, while atomic number is just a single number with no decimal places. Next, let's look at how the periodic table came about. Let's start with how data is arranged in the periodic table. There are many attempts to arrange the elements and information about them before Dmitri Mendeleev created the periodic table as we know it today. Mendeleev arranged his periodic table according to atomic weight. Today, we arrange the periodic table according to atomic number. Elements are placed from left to right by row in the table according to increasing atomic number. This leads to groups of elements in the table having shared characteristics based on where they are. We look at the periodic table's information in two ways, breaking elements into groups and periods. Groups are vertical columns of the periodic table, and elements in the same group have shared characteristics. Important groups include Group 1, the alkaline metals, Group 2, the alkaline earth metals, Group 17, the halogens, and Group 18, the noble gases. Groups 1, 2, and 17 all have very reactive elements in them, and Group 18, the noble gases, are the most unreactive elements in the entire periodic table. Now, the opposite of groups are periods, the horizontal rows of the periodic table. Elements in the same period on the table do not have similar characteristics, but they do have the same energy level, which we will talk about in a later episode. It's also important to know the element's symbols when reading the periodic table. Some elements have straightforward symbols that match up with their name. For example, hydrogen is a capital H, fluorine is a capital F, and carbon is a capital C. However, some of the elements get their symbols from their old Latin names, not their English names. Some important examples of this are sodium, symbol Na, iron, symbol Fe, gold, symbol Au, silver, symbol Ag, and lead, symbol Pb. Remember to keep these symbols straight when reading your table. The periodic table is also arranged so that we know which elements are metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. Another episode will go further into detail on the differences between these types of elements, but for now our focus will remain on identifying them. Every element from Group 1 to Group 12 is a metal, with the exception of hydrogen, the first element on the periodic table in the top left corner. Then, starting in Group 13, there is a cluster of elements that form a divider between metals and nonmetals. These are the metalloids, which run along what looks like a stairway on the periodic table. The elements below the metalloids are metals. The elements above the metalloids are the nonmetals. So a rule of thumb for you is that metals are on the left and nonmetals are on the right of the periodic table. Now, there are two more important parts of the periodic table you need to remember. First is the series of elements from Group 3 to Group 12. There is a slight indent in the periodic table at this point, and the elements in this area of the periodic table are called the transition metals. Unlike the metals in Group 1 and Group 2, these metals are not very reactive, and they will be important in the episode dealing with atomic structure and orbitals. Last is the two periods of elements below the rest of the periodic table. These are the lanthanides and actinides, a series of elements that are put below the table to conserve space and condense the table. If they were in their proper position, they would be put after lanthanum and actinium. And that is everything you need to know about the basics of the periodic table. Thank you for watching this video and choosing ChemBuddy as your teaching assistant, and please come back and watch more of what our channel has to offer. For my fellow CAs, Chris and Emil, we wish you the best in studying and hope you enjoyed this video.